It'll be tough to follow that. Yeah, I'm Anthony Colucci, head football coach, Birmingham Southern, been the offensive coordinator the last 6 years. I was promoted to head coach this past December. So we've been running pit and pool for as long as I've been coaching. So I've been coaching this play for the last 10 years. To me, it's, for lack of a better term, our coolest run play. It's by no means like our most ran run play. So like since 2019, wide zone just took over our offense. Yeah. It's all we run. So when in doubt, run wide zone. Doesn't matter the front, doesn't matter the coverage, the blitz. Throw any scenario at it. That's kind of our play. We have the marker last when we run wide zone. Before 2019, pin and pull probably was within our offensive system our top play. Now it's probably third. Wide zone being first, dark backside tackle pull is our second most ran run play. Pin and pull is third. The reason why I think it's the coolest is every single clip has the potential to come down differently. Like we're coaching everybody the same. We're coaching across the board it's the same. But as you watch the clips, the ball will hit different places. There'll be different people pulling. And to me, when it works in unison with all moving parts and orchestrated the best, it's the coolest play, if you will. I also call it the system because we've been running it for so long, right? Every year we've been adding a little bit to it in regards to the RPO stuff off the backside, the control backside, linebackers, some play action stuff down the field, some screen element, and then quarterback run element as well. So I think there is a handful of things you can add to it as you get better at it and progress through it. Unfortunately, my cowboy that I brought is not working.
I'll get you good.
Oh,
I got you.
perfect.
No problem.
Well, as you figure that out, I'll go on to the next one. All right, yeah, so why we like pin and pull? First and foremost is sets an edge, okay? So I'm gonna talk the best I can on both like scheme and technique and bounce back and forth. I know this is primarily O-line guys in the room, if not all O-line guys in the room, but in order for this play to work, I think the secret sauce also includes the tight ends and the running back. And without those two guys being in unison with the O-line, this play is no good. So I'm gonna talk about that a little bit as well, okay? If you identify it properly, you've got the opportunity to have a hat for a hat and a ball carrier, right? We've got the ball in our running back's hands, who historically in our program is the best player on the field. Okay? Get the ball in his hands in space. And then it gives us the ability to attack all fronts. So we've got different calls per the front on the front side of this play, that regardless of the front, we're gonna be okay. And I've got the cut up kind of broken down by front. Okay, so we'll go in unison by the front. And then opportunities to exploit the defense. So as you build it within your offensive system, depending on what personnel grouping you use or how you formationally do things, you have opportunities to take advantage of how they're stopping this play. They're stopping it on the front side with some type of second level defender in the run fit. Now you've got the deep play action. If they're stopping it with somebody off the backside, now you can sneak things in back behind with RPO stuff, quarterback run element, and things of that nature. So good. Go to the next one. Okay, so three kind of core general principles for you. The tight end, huge point of emphasis. Like if you don't have a tight end that can block on the front side and at least sustain, to me the play's no good. And if you follow our offense over the last 10 years, the years we've been best at it, we've had a tight end up front who can block. Okay, so we teach the tight end. He's really got three options. Okay, and it's all predicated on where is the defensive end in front of him. If it's 5 or 7, okay, traditional down block, 45-degree angle over and up, and you're simply trying to pin that guy and set that edge. If we get him pinned, we'll get the ball out on the perimeter and we'll be okay. Head up 6 is probably the toughest, right? Because as a tight end, you don't know what gap that defensive end is going to play. So there's the most variability in that, okay? So what we tell the tight end for a head up 6 is your first step is going to be a smart step. It's going to be your inside foot. It's going to be ultimately a timing mechanism. That inside foot, that inside step is one, to protect you from the 6 technique just shooting C gap right now, okay? But it's also to allow for time for the 6 technique to let you know what gap he's playing, okay? So on that first step, the 6 technique goes inside into C gap, you pin him down in, and you treat him just like he's a 5 or a 7. If he goes outside, you treat him like a 9 technique. So how we treat a 9 technique, going back to kind of how I started, wide zone is our favorite run play. It's the play we run the most. his technique and how he executes that block is the exact same technique that we coach in wide zone. So he's gonna be aiming the center of his chest, he's gonna be trying to stay square, he's gonna try to vertically displace him. Vertical press on the front side of wide zone trumps everything, as it does on this pin and pull with a 9 technique, okay? Worst case scenario, we get lateral movement down the line of scrimmage and that thing stretches out. Okay? The ball will hit inside of that 9 technique. One of the beauties for the O-line, on the front side specifically, tell the guys that you have the opportunity to block it how you find it, okay? So depending on the front, on the defensive front, okay, the techniques that we have in front of them, that's what dictates who down blocks and who pulls, okay? In the simplest, most easy, basic sense, if you're on the front side and there's somebody on your backside shoulder or your backside gap, you're pulling. Okay, if there's somebody in your backside shoulder or in your backside gap, you're pulling, okay? Excuse me, I just misspoke, did totally opposite. If there's somebody in your backside gap, backside shoulder, you're down blocking, you're the pin. Okay? Backside shoulder, backside gap, you're down block, you're the pin. If there's nobody in that gap, then you're skip pulling. Okay. Now, to make sure we're all on the same page, we also have a call within our system, right? That's our code verbiage of who's skip pulling and who's down blocking. That way we're all on the same page. Okay. But like day one freshman, that's as simple as that. Before you even get worried about learning the terms, if there's somebody on your backside shoulder, you down block them. If there's not, you go ahead and skip pull. The backside, we treat just like wide zone and inside zone. So we treat the backside blocks for the guard and the tackle the exact same for all 3 plays. And I'll talk about that as we get into it. So again, we're trying to make as many things in our offensive system kind of fit together so that they're learning less. So that their toolbox of techniques and how they go about blocks and footwork kind of works from play to play to play. So you're not having to do a whole bunch of things for all these different plays, okay? If you are a puller, we bounce back to the front side, one thing I forgot to add in there. If you are the skip puller, you also block the linebacker how you find him as well, okay? So I tell them a lot of it comes pre-snap. You can have a good general idea of how that block's gonna come down pre-snap based on the defender's leverage for the point of attack, okay? And I'll talk more about that when we get to the next slide as well. But if you got an opportunity as a pulling offensive lineman to seal or pin that linebacker into the box, go ahead and do it, okay? If he has leverage on you for where you're pulling from, where the point of attack is, then you can go ahead and kick him out on your pull, okay? So that frees up the offensive lineman, right? O-linemen get nervous when they're in space a lot of times, right? Screens, pin and pull, oh my gosh, coach, you got me out here running after linebackers, safeties, corners, okay? But allowing them to block that guy, how they find them, negates a lot of that insecurity because they don't have just a set way that they absolutely have to make that block happen. And pre-snap, they can look at some things that will help them gather information that'll ease a lot of that angst because they'll have a pretty good idea of how that block's gonna go down anyway before the ball's even snapped. The waterfall track for the running back is by far the absolute most important thing for this play to work, okay? All the things we do up front are cool and are fun, but if the running back track is not in unison with the O-line skip pulls, the play sucks, okay? And so what we tell our running back. So the aiming point of the play is the brown spot of the tight end, okay? We wanna be coming down to the brown spot of the tight end, and we wanna read that block, okay? So in a perfect world, right, we've pinned in the 5, we've pinned in the 7, or we've pinned in the 6, and the running back's gonna hit that thing outside on the perimeter, okay? In a second best world, right, the 6 goes outside or the tight end has a 9, and we're reading that block and we're hitting it inside of him, okay? The trick though for the running back on the waterfall track is that it's slow and it's paced, okay? So we're a pistol shotgun team, and it's either a 5 or 7 step footwork for the running back, okay? If he's in pistol, okay, if you go back to the next slide for me, Coach. Yeah, just pause it right here, okay? So this is a grid that we paint on our grass field that's next to our stadium, and it incorporates pin and pull, it incorporates wide zone, it incorporates inside zone, and it incorporates both offset and pistol, okay? We do this every day. We call it tracks. We do it every single day with our quarterbacks and running backs. And at the beginning of the season, we film it and we go crazy about it. and then as it becomes muscle memory, we kind of let it kind of take care of itself from there. But as you look at the grid, okay, the blue is wide zone. Okay, that's our wide zone tracks. The outermost lines, right, are going to be our wide zone. Okay, and then the inside lines. So these two inside lines over the guard are inside zone, and then the one that splits right down the center, that's for zone read. Okay. But I want to give you a picture of this. So here we're in offset. Okay?
Coach, can you say those lines one more time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the outermost lines are for our pin and pull.
Okay.
Okay. Our innermost lines that run through the guards are for inside zone.
Gotcha.
The one that splits right down the center is for zone read, and then the blue lines are for wide zone.
Gotcha.
Go. And then kind of where the quarterback is here is, and this kind of track through the quarterback is for when we're in offset, and then when we start back here, obviously, is when we're in pistol. Okay, so you're getting every position we put the back in, and we're working all of our run game footwork, working all of our aiming points, and just ultimately becomes muscle memory for the guys when it comes to the run game. This is something, if you haven't painted, if you have the resources to keep it painted all year, right, your guys can go out there and do this all year. And it requires no other human beings, right? They can be out there doing this with themselves, or they can, get their quarterback teammate friend out there to help them, with it. So anyway, if we're an offset and we're running pin and pull to the right here, okay, it is a 7-step progression. So for the running back, it's lateral, crossover, lateral, crossover, lateral, 45, downhill. That was a lot, and it's hard to even walk out. Right? We try to walk it out in a meeting, and I'll trip and fall and hit the table probably. Lateral, crossover, lateral, crossover, lateral, 45 downhill. Okay, you finish it with 45 downhill. Okay. If you're coming out of the pistol, you just take one of those lateral and crossovers out. So it's lateral, crossover, lateral, 45 downhill. Okay. And that's what they should be saying in their head, and that's kind of their timing. That allows their pace, because ultimately you want to keep the running back flat in the backfield so that the linebackers, right, our linebackers are coached, the verbiage that they use is flat back, flat track. Or flat track, or flat back, flat track. So if our back is running flat, they're also moving flat, right? The linebackers are. So as the running back, the linebackers, and the O-line is having time to get around as everybody's moving flat, okay? If the running back, and this is where it gets difficult for us as much as we run wide zone, if he's running a wide zone angled track for pin and pull, well, the linebackers are going to flow downhill at a 45-degree angle, and the pin and pull blocks for the offensive line are going to take place at the line of scrimmage. Not good. Okay, not good. Not good for the O-line. So we want the running back to have a slow track, a paced out track, so that when he's coming downhill on his 45 downhill, that he is coming downhill right behind the brown spot of the tight end. And a good gauge of the running back track is where are the O-line blocks taking place with the linebackers, the corners, the safeties. If they're taking place at the line of scrimmage, look at the running back, because the running back's track is probably poor. Okay. Or maybe there's an extremely huge tell that you're about to be running that play in the first place, with something you're doing schematically or just tendency-wise. Okay. So the still shot I got here is we're actually about to run a wide zone rep, but what we do is we'll put another running back out here. So like we're running pin and pull, we'll have him stand right here where the tight end would be, and he just gives him a read so that the running back can make a cut either inside that block or outside that block throughout this drill. Okay. And then we've got, when we do it on a practice field, depending on how many quarterbacks or running backs we have, like this grid here is actually dual-sided. So we can have a quarterback and running back here, quarterback, running back here, and we can work 4 guys simultaneously running pin and pull to the right. And then you paint another grid next to it. Okay, now just doubles how many reps you're getting. And you can paint as many grids as you want per how many kids you have, how many you need. That I think is the secret. And that, like I said, that was wide zone. I just wanted to show you the grid. Okay. All right, so I got the play broken down based on front. Okay, so like all the next clips we've got here is we're running pin and pull out of 3 technique. Okay, pin and pull out of 3 technique. So we're gonna have the right tackle, or excuse me, the play side tackle, in the drawing, obviously the right tackle, is the down block, okay? The guard in the center are our skip pullers, okay? They're gonna block the linebackers how they find them. But I tell them pre-snap, gather as much information as you possibly can, okay? So if I'm coaching up the right guard, I'm telling him, you know that the ball's hitting at the brown spot of the tight end. Pre-snap, the Sam has leverage on you to the point of attack. So this block is probably ultimately gonna be a kick out. I'm telling the center, okay, the ball's hitting the brown spot of the tight end. The mic is head up on you. You might have a chance to seal him inside. Depending on how the mic flows, it might turn into a kick out. But however you find him is how you're gonna block him, okay? Listening to the shin angles is what really got me intrigued about the way we skip pull, okay? Because false stepping, I do think, is a concern when it comes to skip pulling, okay? But the way I teach it is, you wanna drive off the foot in the direction you want to go, okay? So if I'm the right guard here, I'm skipping to the right. I wanna drive off of my right foot so that my left foot is the one that goes back, right? Your left foot is a little bit softer in your stance. You're driving off your right foot so that you're back behind the line of scrimmage. Your hips and shoulders and eyes are square and forward. You can let the things develop in front of you, but with your eyes, you can see your target the entire time. When freshmen come into the program who've never skipped pool before, okay, they might get the skip mechanics down, but they'll turn their head and their shoulders to the sideline, and they'll run, and then when they get around the tight end, they'll try and find their linebacker, and they don't have a chance, because they have no idea where he's at, because they've lost sight of him. So pre-snap, they can peek at him, okay, and obviously not just stare at him the entire time, but have a good general idea of how that block's gonna go down, and then on the skip, hips and shoulders are square, eyes are on the target the entire time, okay? I hate to say feel the blocks in front of you, because then you get guys wanting to like skip pull and feel everybody in front of them, but there is an element of like letting those blocks develop in front of you, so that you know where to cross the line of scrimmage. I tell the O-line, this resonates with them really, really well too, because they'll ask, right, this drawing, coach, am I pulling up a C gap? Am I pulling up a B gap? You want me going out here? D, where do you want me to go? I tell them, if you feel like you're having to get skinny through the line of scrimmage, you play O-line, you're not getting skinny through anything. Keep going around the outside. Go to the next gap, okay? Go to the next gap. And there'll be some clips I'll show you where we pull up into the line of scrimmage too soon. But when in doubt, pull one gap further. Okay, on the backside, when we're running an add-a-3 technique, to me, the backside's pretty easy. It's minimal communication. You're just true zone on the backside, just like we would on our wide zone. Backside cutting off, mixing in cut blocks as we can. They recently changed the rule on that this past year. So that looked a little bit different this past year, but overall, if you need to mix in cuts, go ahead and keep those guys honest, slow them down some. But here's a pretty clear cut, backside cutoff for these guys, so. You want me to sit down and run it?
I can do it.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah. Really behind shot, probably on all of them.
Gotcha.
Coach, why'd you say the block occurs sometimes on the line? I know you said you didn't want that. What causes that? Did you say?
Yeah. The running back's track. Like the running back's getting to the line of scrimmage too quickly.
So he's not going lateral long enough?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He's in too big of a hurry to get here, which causes these guys to flow there quicker, and then the blocks they're meeting at the line of
Gotcha.
scrimmage. Yeah. But we want them to all be in unison as far as like timing goes and coming
Gotcha.
downhill. Okay. On every single play that we run in our offense, we identify a mic. I'm sure all you guys probably do that as well. Okay. And per the play, the meaning of who the mic is different for us. Okay. To keep everybody honest, so that nobody can ever guess what it is or what's going on. So for us in our pin and pull, the mic identification, okay, is the second linebacker level threat. Okay, when we're running the ball at the tight end, second linebacker. I say linebacker level threat because it doesn't necessarily have to be a linebacker who's included in this. Could be safety, could be corner, or could be a linebacker. So just looking at this picture, what also I define as the linebacker level threat is if you take an umbrella or a rainbow over the box. Okay, anybody who's in that umbrella or in that rainbow is a linebacker level threat. Okay, pin and pull, the second puller is who's going for the mic. Okay, so like here, we come up to the line and say, the mic is number 12, the mic is number 12. So the second puller is who's going for number 12. Okay, all of these we're going to be running at the 3 technique. Okay, so we're running pin and pull to the left. You got down block by your left tight end, down block by your left tackle, left guard skip pulling, center skip pulling. Again, the mic ID is number 12. Okay, right off the bat, very first clip we got 2 issues. Quarterback cuts off the running back. Okay, so that's foul on him, and then the left guard does false step. After the first speaker, I'm definitely moving forward. One way to articulate it to the guys is gonna be shin angle. One thing I heard from Herb Hand about false stepping is if you're wanting to travel to the left, okay, and I'm telling you, if I'm telling the left guard to drive off your left foot, okay, so that your right foot is the one that goes back underneath, okay, and he false steps, right? He has that urge to drive off his right to keep going. Curl the big toe of the foot you want to drive off of. That was like the best coaching point I ever heard, because I never heard that before. And I was at like a camp, and I was standing there like curling my big toe. So if you want to drive off your left foot, curl the big toe of your left foot. It's almost impossible to false step at that point.
So like what Coach Harry was talking about bracing.
Yeah, you have to. Okay, go ahead and play, Coach. So the false step by the left guard was the point I wanted to make, and then the center here. Pause it real quick if you don't mind. Actually, I might, Coach, just run that top for you, because I know what I'm anticipating. So we want to come as when we're going up into the line of scrimmage. Really, I'm talking about the center here. Everybody can see, right? I'm not blocking the view there. I'm talking about the center here. We want to come as tight to the down blocks as we possibly can. So we don't want to leave a bunch of space as we're coming through the line of scrimmage. So you can see the center here. He is now in this like no man's land to go execute his block against number 12. We're coaching him up on this play that you need to be tight off 34's down block and then turn that thing into a kick out here. So really it should be kick out by 63, kick out by 56. Okay, next clip is the exact same look. We're going the exact same direction, but it's a much, much better job by number 56 here, our center. Now we're going to the right, okay, flipped it over, a different guy's executing it, still running it at a 3 technique. The mic we're identifying here is number 32. Okay, ends up being double kick out. The problem we've got here, same problem you run into with wide zone I think as well, is the quarterback needs to be aware, anytime you've got a guy in C gap and in D gap on the line of scrimmage, you gotta offset the running back so you can hold him, right? So you can hold him on the backside and keep him honest. Because if you just turn your back to him, right, 19 has absolutely nothing that he's got to worry about, and he can just run you down from the backside. Okay? Unless you're just running some true naked bootleg stuff to hold him honest. This is a great job by the tight ends, right? In a perfect world, we're pinning 44. And that block by the tight end is similar to like what Coach was talking about in inside zone, and that the tight end block doesn't need to just be an ear hole, kill the defensive end block. It needs to be a stalemate. Okay, believe it or not. If you can just get a stalemate right there, then the edge is set and we're good. The problem we have when the tight end sees a guy who's in the C gap is he gets really excited and he tries to just annihilate him. Okay? And you fall off the block at times. This is a great job by our right tight end, just playing with tremendous effort.
Do you change the pace of your down block depending on whether he's a 5 or a 7?
Yeah, I think more than anything, you change the angle of your first step. Yeah. So like the further away he is from you, the steeper angle that first step is. The closer he is to you, the more you're stepping it right at him.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's your aiming point on it? Where are you trying to?
Yeah, that's a great question. I failed to mention that. So I tell them the V of the neck, but not the t-shirt V of the neck, the V of like from your ear into your shoulder. That's like the day one aiming point, okay? And then depending on your opponent, whether it be through film study or whether it be me just telling them going into that week, I think it's important to know like what kind of defense are you playing? Like our defense that we play all day in practice, okay, they're gonna try and cross face that block. So if I'm playing the defensive end and someone's coming to down block me, okay, and he's going here, I'll tell them to aim deeper. Like aim at that back shoulder, knowing that he's gonna go there. First week of the season, we play, a team that's a pin your ears back, backfield penetrating team. I'll tell them to aim like more in front, in front of their jersey, so that their first step is a little bit flatter. But like day one, basic generic install, I'm telling them from that ear into their neck and shoulder area.
So your first instinct is not as much to stop penetration, but to stop pursuit over the top. That's where you start, and then you adjust to the penetrative.
I don't know that we necessarily like pick one way or the other per se. Yeah. Okay, here we're going pin and pull to the left, running it out of 3 technique. This is really a clip to just kind of know, like, truly on the front side, when we make a mic identification, we're essentially manning the whole play up on the front side. And we're defining who has who. So if there's a blitz, our skip pulls need to adjust accordingly. So here we're running it into a blitz, the old NCAA blitz, if you will. And our left guard and our center do a great job of adjusting to that blitz and turning those blocks into kickouts. And then to the same point, right? So here we got linebackers that move pre-snap, okay? So we just stick with the call we made. We're all on the same page. And the old adage, if we're all wrong, we're all right.
Yeah.
Just stick with it. Because if you're trying to change the call as the snap's going, it's gonna be disaster. Gonna be disaster. Okay, another note here, in my opinion, the absolute best way, or our favorite way to run this play, or like where you can have the most fun and have the most answers, is nub tight end. Like that's our favorite formation, that we can dictate a lot of things. I think especially in 12 personnel, but even in 11 personnel, you can very quickly and easily identify what the defense is giving you, what they're taking away. And for the most part, most defenses don't have a whole slew of things that they do to nub tight end, okay? The problem with that on this play is you need to prepare your center for those different looks and all those different options. Because, and as we get into more and more clips, there could be an element where the center is having to discern who are the most important people that we need to block on this play. Is it the corner? Is it not the corner? Is he in the run fit? Is he not? And that's where I do think it could get tricky. But we've been fortunate enough to have guys up front that can handle that information and discern who's most important. Okay. So like right here for this clip, it's 11 personnel. So from a football math standpoint, we've got 6 blockers. Okay. So we've got to discern what are the 6 most important defenders to block. Well, in this look, it's the 4 down linemen, this linebacker, and the corner. Okay, right? Because this guy starts outside of the box and he shifts in late. The issue we've got is the left tackle on this particular clip, that's over his head, or he's not paying attention, okay, whatever the case may be. Because if we've identified him as the Mike, okay, the left tackle needs to climb for 42. He needs to zone B gap or sift B gap, just like we do on wide zone, okay? But he didn't pay attention to who we identified, right? And technically 42 should make a play here. All right, we're doing nothing. We should be blocking him. 54 should be zoning up to him. And the quarterback is holding the defensive end in this particular look. So that is a caution, I would say. I think when you get into nub tight end, the options are almost endless for you, but you're also putting your guys in a situation where it could be a little bit more point to this one, right, it's a different game, different opponent. We're formation in the boundary. It was a game plan thing that we were gonna be formation in the boundary. And you gotta discern center. Who are the most important 6 guys? Well, we said going into this game that it was gonna be the 4 down linemen and these 2 linebackers, because this corner either A, wasn't gonna be in the run fit, or B, wasn't very good at tackling, okay? In this scenario here, he's not in the run fit, okay, so we weren't blocking him. Okay, so the Mike ID on this particular play is 34 here. So then the tackle can stay backside on the defensive end, he doesn't need to climb. All based on who that Mike identification was.
For you guys, is this a call in and of itself, or is it a tag for wide zone?
It's a call in itself, yeah, it's its own separate play. Yep. That's like here, and this is kind of, so this same exact formation, right, we're not formation boundary, it's a different opponent, but the corner is an important guy, okay, we need to make sure we block him, okay? So we make the Mike ID, these jerseys are tough, you can't tell the jersey number, but that's the Mike ID here. So the second puller, okay, because we're running out of 3 techniques, second puller is gonna be the center, that's who we're pulling for. So the backside tackle needs to zone through, and really the quarterback should offset the running back so that we can hold the defensive end here, which he doesn't. Okay, could have hurt us. Defensive end could have just pinned his ears back and made a play on the line of scrimmage.
Coach, that's a 6. Footwork for your tight end one more time. You go outside foot first, or?
We want him to go inside foot first, to protect him from just a slant knife into the backfield.
Okay.
Yeah, because that would be the absolute worst thing that would happen to the tight end, is if this guy is 100 miles an hour, ears pinned back in the backfield, because that's gonna ultimately clog up our skip pullers.
Well, your guys, when they skip pull, what do you teach them, like, in regard to depth? Are they really trying to get back up off the ball, or?
I tell them it should just be like a natural, athletic run. I try not to overanalyze it.
The reason I asked that
Yeah.
is related to what Coach Yeager asked. We tried this spin and pull play, and we had trouble with it tied in. Kind of what I was talking about, the pace of the block. It's a hard, he's kind of in a hard position where he has to not get his face crossed, and also not let penetration so our pullers can't get out.
No.
And we had a hard time kind of shoring that up with our guy.
Yeah. So to that point, if there is penetration in the C gap, play's over. In regards to getting the lineman out there.
Yeah.
If he goes up to a 9 like he does here, or he plays outside of the D gap, the tight end can react much more efficiently for the play still to be salvageable, as it is on this clip. And we're gonna pin and pull to the right. We identify 33 as Mike. Down block by the tight end, down block by the right tackle. Skip pull the guard in the center. And then kind of like the very first clip, right, center should just run 33 by, just latch and run. Just grab and run. Doesn't have to be near a whole block. You don't have to block them one certain way or the other. Just latch them and run them on by. Okay, here we're going out of 9 techniques. So we've got 9 technique pre-snap. So we're running pin and pull to the left. You can see our left tight end is just gonna zone right at him, just like we're running wide zone. He's aiming center of his chest. Get vertical push if you can. Worst case scenario, you just widen him out, flat down the line of scrimmage. Okay, and the ball's gonna hit inside of that. Okay, going wide zone to the left again. 9 technique pre-snap. Left tight end should just zone right at him, center of his chest. His hands are poor, his hands are wide, which he gets stalemated right there at the line of scrimmage. But again, everything's gonna hit inside. In this particular year, our tight end was a little bit lighter. He wasn't as good of a run blocker as we've had in the last 2 years. We didn't run this play as efficiently in this season because of that. And this is the last one in this look. Anytime we've got twins on the backside, okay, periodically, throughout the course of the season, teams will just give you stuff, right? They'll just do something, whether it be a blitz, whether it be a bust, whatever the case may be. I just think it's important you have things kind of built in, they keep on the forefront of your quarterback's mind, that you can go ahead and take advantage of things. And this was an instance here where they brought the guy off the edge, and they didn't even bring him, but at the snap, he's at the line of scrimmage, they're giving us the bubble, just go ahead and take it. All right, so pin and pull out of one technique, okay? So now we're gonna down block with the guard, place that guard, we're gonna skip pull, place that tackle, we're gonna skip pull center, okay? All coaching points are the same, we just got different people doing it. Again, from a day one, freshman install sense, if there's somebody on your backside shoulder and your backside gap down block, if there isn't, go ahead and skip pull, okay? And again, our offense, our guys would have a different call for this look that means all of that as well. So we kind of cover ourselves in two ways, just to ensure that we're all on the same page. So here we're going pin and pull to the right, excuse me. Identify this linebacker as the Mike. Okay, so our second puller again is going to be our center. Here, really, our center could start getting up into the line of scrimmage now and kick out 45, as opposed to continuing to run laterally. I'm going to have the wide of that. He runs laterally on the line of scrimmage for too long, in my opinion. Like that gap is huge. Go ahead and close the distance, close the ground with him, and then go ahead and kick him out. Okay, difference here. The only difference on the backside now is, right, you're usually, depending on the defensive structure, but all these clips are going to be in some form of even front. You've got a 3 technique or potentially a 4-eye, okay, depending on who you're playing. And whether it's wide zone, whether it's inside zone, or whether it's pin and pull, these two guys have a combo call in our offense. And essentially what that call is there's 3 options. And the 3 options are all predicated and discerned on how much help is the guard going to give the tackle before he goes to the linebacker. Okay, so like for here, you got a 4-eye, there's going to be no help. The guard's just going to go, the tackle's going to be on his own. Okay, if there were a 3 technique right here, which more often than not there is against an even front here, okay, he discerns between 2 options, right? He's now down to 2 options based on where this linebacker is and how close he is to the point of attack. Okay, so he's essentially just saying, hey, I'm going to stay here and help you for a long time, or hey, I'm just going to help you for a little bit and then I'm gone. Okay, or I'm not going to help you at all because this linebacker, for whatever reason on this play, is lined up over at the center and I got to go, man. So I can't help you at all. In that instance, the guard's just going to run and the tackle's going to have to cut. That's the worst case scenario. Okay, but usually when it comes to this play, okay, when you've got the 3 technique on the backside, he's got really 2 options that he would tell the tackle in regards to timing on how he's getting to that linebacker. Okay, the guy I stole this from, he had 4 options. He had a ricochet option where the guard was going to lean back into him and go. Either I don't coach it well enough or our guys just struggle to do it. So I'll take the blame. I might not coach it well enough, but we're not good at ricocheting back and then going. So that option is just out.
Coach, you talk about this tight end track. You said you want him to smart step inside against the 6, right? So
yeah, so he's wrong here.
He's wrong, okay.
With his footwork, yeah.
But if he does get like a stand-up or someone who's playing him in a true 6, like you want him to smart step inside, and then if he can, try to pin it.
Yep. And then one thing to note too, on the opposite side, so backside tight end, we had a tight ends coach with us in 2019 that totally sold me on the concept. Before 2019, we would like turn our butt on the backside cutoff at tight end. And John Williams joined our staff in 2019, and he started coaching the bang and hang on the backside. So like we're telling our tight end here to stay square, collision through the inside half of the defender, hold the back door open, and then go to the second level. And that has been a game changer on some of our explosive plays over the last couple of years. The tight end is down blocking a safety 20 yards downfield for us. Small detail, but it made us more explosive. It made us a better offense thanks to Coach Williams' addition on the backside. Because like I said, before 2019, number 11 would just turn his butt and hold that thing open and disregard 4. Where now we're getting a 2 for 1 on the backside with the tight end. All right, so here's another look. Again, complexity, or where you could get it complex with your O-line, okay, is we got a veteran center here, right? Linebacker level threats are where we identify the mic, okay? So he really could, if he just goes by that rule of thumb, right, he could identify this guy as the mic, so that's who the second puller would go for, that's who the first puller would go for, right? But whether it be, it couldn't have been, it was either game plan or our center was pretty cerebral here, because it's play 19 of this game. He identifies the safety as a threat, right? He pre-snap, he's thinking that the safety is gonna fit this alley and be this extra run fitter. So he includes him as a threat. So he actually IDs the mic as this linebacker. So now our first puller is going for the safety, our second puller is going for this linebacker here on the hash. So here's an example of the center trying to get up in the line of scrimmage way too soon, okay? The analogy of not trying to skinny through doesn't necessarily apply here, right, because that gap is huge. But the pre-snap information on that, this guy has a ton of leverage per the point of attack, okay? The center doesn't need to be in a big hurry getting across the line of scrimmage here. Because of it, it costs us. Okay, left guard's not doing a great job at all by any means, but while I'm thinking about it, I'll mention it, okay? So the kind of intermediate option, right? So I said the left guard's got 3 options. He can help this guy a lot. He can help him a little bit, or no help at all. Okay, right here is the scenario where he's gonna help him a little bit, okay? And want him to like strike the Heisman pose, right? Everybody kind of understands, right, the Heisman trophy. So I want him to go 45-degree angle over and up with his right, okay? The trickiest part of that is I actually want his left foot to go down the field, okay, and not cross over. Right here it crosses over. But when it crosses over, he's that much further away from the defensive lineman, and he's not gonna be able to reach him with that Heisman pose on the run through. Whereas if his left foot is downhill, okay, across the line of scrimmage, he'll have more of a chance and more power to hit that guy on his way through. All right, so we're running at the open side, okay? So no tight end at all, okay? Whether you be 10 personnel or whether you got 11 personnel and tight ends on the backside, okay? Now you're just identifying the mic as the first linebacker level threat, okay? First linebacker level threat. We teach the tackle now that he's gonna treat it just like wide zone, and you got 1 down block and you got 1 skip puller, okay? It's a lot simpler. We're, as far as like actually calling this, we're looking for this specific look against the even front to run into the open side. We're not just blindly running it at the open side, because if there's a safety fit in that alley, or depending on the front, it's gonna be bad looks, it's gonna be bad numbers. Okay, so there's just a couple clips here, when we had the look, we played a team that we knew was gonna give us the look. So we got left guard down block, left tackle treats this like wide zone, center pulls for who we've identified as the mic, and then these two work a combo, wide zone cutoff on the backside.
Play side tackle technique, coach.
Yeah, so he's trying to finesse him right here. Like this player is trying to.
Right.
I don't necessarily want him to. I want him to aim center, so just like we would on wide zone, so he's trying to get his right hand to the center of the defensive end's chest, stay square, get vertical press. The nature of the 5 technique in most defenses, right, they have that gap, so as soon as you widen out to him, first thing he's gonna do is do this, and then we hit inside of him anyway. But we're trying to use his technique against him.
All right, so once he does that,
Yep.
what's the tackle do then? Like, let's say the tackle does like that and he widens, he can't get centered up on him
He can torque him out.
with the inside hand.
Yeah, so we teach, and the same as like we would on dart, if we were running dart to the left, I tell them thumb down, turn them out. It's like your hands are on your steering wheel like you're driving your car, you see a deer in the middle of the road, thumb down and turn them out. Just go ahead and torque them out.
Do you do anything like I just saw when you did that, when you were standing up, you pressed your inside, your hip, does your hip go back in the inside?
So 54 was an All-American, and he was really good at that.
Gotcha.
He's been really the only guy that has been good at that.
Well, you did pretty good at it right there, I thought.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But right here, 54 is trying to finesse him.
Right.
And the defensive end just plays right down the center of his chest and gets blown in the backfield. That's not at all what we want to have happen. I think we got one. So right tackle here is actually a lot better. We don't have the beginning of it. But you can see where we're just kind of using the defensive end's technique against himself.
That's long.
Yeah, and that goes ahead, that opens up that B gap. I mean, that's everything we've ever wanted right there. Okay, then you see on the backside here, footwork isn't great with his left foot, but like because the backside inside linebacker is way backside, the left guard can really help the left tackle. Okay, so he can really try and lift that 3 technique up and be patient on his climb to the backside inside linebacker, so that we've got that backside sealed pretty well. Okay, against an odd front, we're gonna pull both guard and tackle. Okay, both guard and tackle. Against the odd front, there are a couple moving parts on the front side that I'll talk through as we get to different looks. Okay, but in a perfect world, we can reach the nose, pull guard and tackle, down block with the tight end. Okay, and then this block here is probably a kick out, and this block here in a perfect world is a seal or a pin inside the box. Left tackle does a really good job adjusting here. Pre-snap, I would think 54 is kicking that guy out, the overhang. He does a good job reacting to that. Okay, we're just true zoning the center and the backside guard here. I teach the backside guard, just like wide zone, just like inside zone. He's gonna read this near kneecap. And that's gonna dictate who's coming off for the backside inside linebacker. Okay, he does a really good job here. 60 was a really good player at that. His eyes go right to that kneecap goes away, he squares up, climbs to the backside inside linebacker. Okay, all these here at the beginning are odd fronts when we're running it at a 5 technique. Okay, so here we're running pin and pull to the right. The only difference here was going into this game. So, let me step back. The first clip we saw, we pulled guard and tackle against an odd front, okay? There is an opportunity or an argument to be made, well, why not just block down with this guard, which is something we do against an odd front. So really against the odd front, you've got 2 options, okay? We want to pull as many people as close to the point attack as possible. That's why we want to pull guard and tackle, okay? But in this scenario, 1, this was their best guy up front, and 2, okay, he was slanted to the field a lot. So going into this game, we had the kind of pre-plan that the guard was gonna down block, and we were gonna pull the center to tackle, just like we did on those clips previously against the even front. Just to make sure that the center wasn't having a heck of a day trying to reach the nose and not successfully reaching him. Same look, pin and pull to the right again. Okay, this is really just a credit to our guys, a brag on our guys in the next 2 clips. Left guard comes to me after this play and says, Coach, I can't get to the backside inside linebacker because doing the down block, so the place I guard is blocking the nose, back into me, I can't get up to 32, and or 32 is a little bit more cheated to where we've been running the ball. We've had some success, right? The previous clip we'd scored that long touchdown on, okay? So he comes to me with a problem, listen to him. He comes to me also with a solution. He says, Coach, I'm athletic enough to go ahead and just skip pull as well. So go ahead and skip pull the backside guard as well. I said, go ahead and do it, man. We've been fortunate that we've made a living with athletic offensive linemen. Like, we're not, 63 right there is 220 pounds, maybe, okay? But he's tough and he's physical, and he's intelligent within our system. So I let him go ahead and do it, and sure enough, he skip pulls around there and ends up on 32, okay? Not every offensive lineman that we do have has that ability, but he was someone that has a lot of experience, and I trusted, and he had a solution to our problem in game. Okay, now we're going to pin and pull to the left, add a 5 technique. Okay, we're pulling the right guard as well. We've made that collective adjustment across the board. All right, one adjustment to the out front. I believe on this one, we're gonna run pin and pull. Yeah, we're gonna run pin and pull to the right, okay? And that 5 technique is now a 4-eye, okay? So that's an issue for our tight end on the down block. It's too far for him to travel, okay? So the right tackle right now is just pointing to him and he's saying, hey man, let's just switch responsibilities, okay? So essentially, the tight end becomes your puller, right? He's switching responsibilities with the tackle. Tackle becomes your tight end in regards to the down block, okay? That confuses them. In a nutshell, those two guys are just zone blocking, okay? So we're losing the whole pin element. But naturally, with that guy in a 4-eye, we're gonna be able to pin him in anyway. And this, honestly, this surface right here between the right tackle and the right tight end is something we practice and we rep every single day as much as we run wide zone. So that's probably more in their comfort zone than pin and pull. So you can see it, he's pointing to him, starts in a 5, move down in, hey man, switch responsibilities. Okay, and tight end just zone arc releases out just as if it was wide zone. And then same exact look, extremely clear cut. We're going pin and pull to the right. I'm not on time, I'm just going, not even paying attention, okay. So these two switch responsibilities. So we've got that natural look that we can kind of pin that 4-eye inside. He's gonna zone out, zone C gap, or excuse me, D gap, if you will, on a zone track, just like it was wide zone. Anytime, this play, I mean, with all run plays, right? If you got too high, you should be running the ball all over people, okay? This play's great, and then this is the guy that you gotta be aware of. And when you're running pin and pull, I think he's the guy that's gonna start causing problems probably first, okay? And how is he fit in the alley? Is he making tackles? Where is he making tackles? How many yards are we gaining? Okay, so like here, yeah, he's aggressive, he's downhill, but because of the beauty of the play, he's not fitting it right. All the gaps have moved all over the place, and we end up with a hole like that, okay? There'll be other scenarios where he's standing right here and he makes a tackle. Okay, now it's time for the play action. Okay, I think this is the last one here, and then I'll go into some of the like play action RPO stuff. But again, all right, quarterback just peeks out there, right? Whether it's unsound, whether it's a bust on their end, something's off, right? We've got 3 over 2. Go ahead and throw it out there and take advantage of that. Okay, and ultimately we end up with a touchdown here, but just have it built in on the forefront of the quarterback's mind that if they're just giving us stuff, we can go ahead and take it. Okay, tight end wing, so we do a little bit of 12 personnel tight end wing. The only real difference is you just tell the center to go ahead and ID the mic one guy further back. Because now the wing tight end is an extra blocker at the point of attack, so you can shift the mic ID back one guy. And to be 100% honest with you, the wing tight end from year to year, even game to game, we've kind of changed how we've handled that in regards to, is it a down block in a pool, right? Or is it just a zone block? Like here, these two guys just zone comboed it. Again, product of how much wide zone we do run, they're probably more comfortable doing that. Okay, because you've got the tight end wing and you can shift back the mic ID, the center doesn't have to pull now. He can just truly zone up to the backside inside linebacker. That's a lot easier block for him. Oh, here it is again on the bottom of the screen. Go to our left. Okay. So we ID this guy as the mic. Center doesn't have to pull. Yeah, so here, this one, right, the previous one, we zone comboed with the left tight end and the wing. On this one, down tight end just kicks out the 9, and then wing tight end arcs. And again, you can play with that, whatever best suits your players, as well as what else you do in your offense. Okay, we do some heavier personnel stuff. We're very, very multiple in our personnel. I think that's one thing that gives us an advantage is we'll show you everything from empty backfield to a formation like this. For this look, we tell the O-line, pretend like these two guys don't exist. Okay, as far as identifying the mic and that kind of thing. These guys have the time and distance to come through and erase any problems that we have. Okay, so the two guys, anytime we run pin and pull and we've got a lead blocker or guys coming out of the backfield or it's quarterback run, we tell them to run the waterfall track as if they have the ball. Okay, so that times everything out and flows everything out so that they can truly come through and clean up opposite colored jerseys that O-line may have missed. But if they're just downhill into the hole right now, it's gonna be a mess. And this isn't something we do a ton of. Okay? One of the main reasons is if you get in a heavy set right like this, defense is gonna pin their ears back to stop the run. At the same time, this is a slower backfield action. And it is the same reason you haven't seen any clips of us running this inside the 5-yard line. Because there's a slower backfield action, people can just pin their ears back and run downhill on you. So I would prefer quicker hitting run plays in those types of scenarios. But here it's late in the game. I guess it's not late in the game, I don't know, maybe not. But it's midfield. So you can sneak this in, okay? Or late in the game running out of clock. Same exact look, same exact direction. Looks like maybe 2 plays later, maybe. And here they do blitz the corner off the backside. Unfortunately, he doesn't make a tackle, right? Again, quarterback awareness. What's going on the backside, whether it's pin and pull, whether it's wide zone. If there's a guy in C gap and there's a guy in D gap, you need to offset the back so that you can hold him. Because if you just blindly turn your back right here, he can do this. Okay, quarterback run, pin and pull. That's kind of predicated on who you're playing and who your quarterback is and whether you're willing to do that. Okay, here we're running it at the open side. Okay, so you got down block by right guard. You've got skip pull by your center. Right tackle is doing his wide zone technique, aiming at the center of his chest. Okay, the running back, and you can really do a couple of things with the running back depending on what you prefer or who you're playing or how you want to make it go down. Like for this instance or for this game, the running back has an opportunity to block the alley defender and ultimately just be the eraser, just like I talked about in those heavy clips, where he can run the waterfall track and clean up anything the O-line struggles with. Problem is on this particular picture, he doesn't know whether he's supposed to clean up 3 or go ahead and continue to 11. He's a little bit unsure here. The biggest issue we run into when running the quarterback pin and pull is the quarterback's track. He aims way too wide. Way, way, way too wide. didn't mention this when we were running at the open side in the earlier clips either, but when we're running at the open side, we got the same aiming point. It's just the imaginary brown spot of the tight end. So right here, we're gonna run pin and pull to the left. You really should be imagining there's a tight end right here to the left and coming down right at the brown spot there. So you can see here, one snap pulls him opposite direction, right? So he overcompensates a little bit. But he's well past where we want him coming downhill at. Watch for this info probably. If you're willing to put your quarterback in harm's way with this play, you should always have the numbers. You should always have the numbers. Okay, perfect. There's a good one. This is a good clear-cut picture. There are some games, this is from this past year, and there's some of these quarterback pin and pulls that should have went for touchdowns, but the problem was the quarterback track again, right? The brown spot of the tight end is this white towel right here, okay? He's aiming way out there to the numbers. If he's coming downhill right now, the brown spot of the tight end, that's 6 points right there, okay? Instead, we're mad at him because we're only getting 2 or 3, okay? Or he sees it late in this scenario and he slips and falls. And that's not a knock, really, it's more on us, because the quarterback, we don't do it a lot, so he doesn't practice it a lot, and that's why it's a product of that. If you're gonna run with the quarterback, the thing I'd recommend is work the waterfall track with him a lot. Okay, backside RPO is to hold the backside inside linebacker. I'll go through these quick, okay? If you're a 12 personnel team, you can run the old stick with the tight end, that's what we do right here, read the backside inside linebacker. Here it's not open. Historically, when we've ran it, it's not been open, but it does what we want it to do. It holds the backside as a linebacker, and we're giving the ball to our best player, being the running back. Okay, now I'm cheating here on the next couple clips. These are off of wide zone, but you could do it off the pin and pull as well. Okay, so like here, a lot of people run the bang 8, right, from a wide out split. Okay, it's kind of the same principle, but we've just reduced the split of our outside receiver here. Okay. Reading the backside inside linebacker, the left guard, the left tackle will go back on their blocks, okay? And we're trying to sneak that in right behind the backside inside linebacker. You can do, like I said, this clip is off wide zone. You can obviously do it with pin and pull as well. Same thing, top of the screen, same exact play, same exact everything, okay? But now, rather than the bang 8 or slant, the quarterback's running an out route. Still the same read, still reading the backside inside linebacker. Just another way, a good way to keep those backside guys honest on the front side, outside run plays. Same thing here. This is the read. Okay, we got a attached tight end on the backside, so he's taking the top off. We're trying to sneak the outside receiver right in behind, backside inside linebacker. Okay, and then off the nub, thing you can do is you can essentially just run the stick RPO, right? A lot of people love this off inside zone. Here we're doing it off wide zone. You can do it off pin and pull as well. Just a spacing stick out on the perimeter. And again, you're reading the backside inside linebacker. Pre-snap, they're giving it to you. So we know this is pulling through right off the bat. We don't even really need to flash fake. Okay, a couple clips off the play action. If there's somebody in the secondary who's making the play at the line of scrimmage here, you know that you got the play action back behind him, okay? So the way we'll attack it is number 3 is gonna go vertical, number 2 is gonna run essentially a crossing route, okay? And then number 1 is gonna be our check down out here, okay? So on the play fake, we're trying to suck up the secondary at the point of attack to get behind them. If that's not open, you can throw off the safety. Okay, so we'll play this one out here. We're late with the ball on this one. Okay, the ball should go to the crossing route here. Over here, throw him open so he can just run and catch it. Okay, because we got what we wanted with this guy. And you can see the safety early on here. His hips are flipped to the top of the screen. Okay, we should be able to throw him open over here. We make our life harder than it needs to be. We're fortunate that that guy's a great player, makes a catch here. Okay, but the ball should have been gone a lot sooner. Okay, same play action here. We're faking the pin and pull to the right. Okay, when we run this play action, we do skip pull the guard. Okay, so it's automatic tackle down blocks, guard skip pulls. To me, that's the best way we can be sound at the point of, on the front side in protection. Safe in the agony, it was a drop there. Sun got in his eyes, I'll defend him. Yeah, so here we go. So tackle fills the void of the guard. I tell these guys to stay square, okay? The trick, the problem that we run into with protection is that the tackle will want to turn his shoulders and open up rush lanes, and then the protection is toast after that. So he wants to, on his down block, he just wants to stay square down into that gap, okay? So he can be firm. And then the guard on his skip pull, right guard does a really good job at this, of selling that he's moving forward, okay? If the right guard just skip pulls, sometimes to a defense, when he does it bad, you can't tell if that's a skip pull or a pass set. You need to get around and go up toward the line of scrimmage to try and influence those defenders so that we can sneak the route back behind them. One last one. Okay. You see, here's a good job of throwing off the safety, right? We suck these guys up, okay, with the play fake. This is taking too long, and there's two guys running with it, so his eyes instantly go to the safety. The safety has his hips and shoulders turned to our sideline, so we know we can throw the ball back behind him to the vertical route down the seam. Okay, I think this is the last clip I've got, okay? You can also call a design screen off the backside of it. So this is off of pin and pull, so we got pin and pull to the right, to the top of the screen, okay? But it's a design jailbreak screen. Again, this left tackle here was an All-American for us, so we could do some fun things with him getting out on the perimeter and blocking. And you can, actually, this is more of a bubble screen coming back through. You can do it to number 1, obviously, as well with jailbreak. Todd?
Yeah.
Cut me off. Questions on anything? Anybody?
What tells you to go from the, your outside zone thing, what tells you, okay, we need to run the pin and pull? What triggers that?
Yeah, we just mix it in. That's a good question. There isn't any so going into a game, we have a pretty good idea how much pin and pull we're gonna run or not run based on the defense and who we're playing.
Alignment?
Alignment and matchups as well. So from year to year, depending on what we're good at, we'll dictate how much we run it or how little we run it.
How does this help your outside zone? What is it about it that helps?
The flow and the timing. Yeah, because this is such a slower paced play where our wide zone, we're trying to hit that thing downhill, and we're trying to displace people at the point of attack, and it also jumbles up all the gaps.
Yeah, does this, a little more predictable where it hits too, a little bit? More so than the outside zone?
I think it's less.
Less, okay.
For sure. So I meant to give him a shout out. Coach O'Melia was the center on a lot of these clips. He was wearing number 66. He played O-line for us. He coached running backs for us. He coached receivers for us, and now he's the new head coach at St. John Paul up here in Huntsville. But yeah, I think the pin and pull is totally unpredictable.
He didn't have any clips. We've got some, especially when they were at center. They had a back that was really good at it, where the ball would actually cut all the way back behind the backside tight end on pin and pull.
Wow.
Because what happens is when you pull linemen, those linebackers are screaming.
Okay.
And they had a kid that had great because your hips and shoulders are square, you can go all the way backside, whereas wide zone for us, your hips and shoulders are at a 45-degree angle, so it's a 45 to the vertical. You can't really, I know everybody talks about cutback on wide zone is not really a thing, it's a cut up. This, you truly can cut back because your hips and shoulders are square.
Yeah. I have a question. I'm intrigued with the idea of, using leverage to determine whether I want to stretch a defender or kick a defender out, his pre-snap leverage. You go in pre-snap, right? Before they see a defense, right? We're talking about play philosophy. Do you approach that with the idea of we want to stretch the second level defenders? Is that the intent of the play, or is it truly just from day one install, we're going to block them however they appear?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's that. It's that. And I think we're fortunate that we're at a high academic institution and our guys can understand it, process information, gather information pre-snap.
Do you ever change how you pull? Like, so say you're running it at a 3-5-9,
Got it.
right?
Yeah.
And let's say it's like
Yeah.
cover, like man free, Sam's 2 to down and 9 technique. Are you gonna say? Are you gonna pull right, hit right on that guy sometimes?
Yeah,
Like,
so
pull and kick him out.
Yeah, so I would tell the tackle, you don't have to, I would tell him, don't be a robot.
Yeah.
If he was a robot, he would skip pull, he would end up outside of the 9, he'd end up stealing him inside.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you can just throw that outside arm, drop that outside foot,
Yeah.
and just go kick him out right then and there.
All right. Well, we're gonna reconvene in about 10 minutes of this win. 6 o'clock. Yeah, we'll reconvene at 6 o'clock. We're running a little bit behind. Hey, I want to take this opportunity to mention there is a clinic